Good afternoon. Today I'm joined by my guest and my friend, Mr. Jonathan Steen from Vaboo. How you doing?
I am very well, David. How are you?
You're looking beautifully purple. I'm okay. All the better for talking to you. I'm keen to understand what has been going on behind the scenes at my favorite rewards platform.
It's a very good question. Yes, we've been fairly kind of quiet, I think, this year. A little bit under the radar. We have had a very interesting year. A lot of change within the business and within the platform and kind of where the platform is at today. Um, we took on a lot of feedback from clients towards the end of last year and the beginning of this year. And I've actually been doing quite a lot of sort of product development. Um, Obviously, the rewards element, the exclusive pricing from retailers, offers and discounts, that is still the foundation of the platform and the kind of benefit to our day-to-day users, our clients, customers. But ultimately, we wanted to become more for our clients as well. First and foremost, we are there to differentiate people's brands, strengthen their relationships with their customers, and ultimately, as our kind of mission statement was at the very beginning, improve the image of the estate and letting agency sector. Um, but throughout this year, we've been working on new features. We're in a position now where we could become a significant lead generator for agents in the industry, whether that's leads for new clients, for sales or lettings, whether that's financial services leads, as well as other features such as significantly helping with getting reviews and one or two other things as well.
Well, let's just break that down then for people who aren't familiar with what Vaboo does really, really well and has done for many years. Is And you're unique in this sense that really isn't anything else like it around. You offer a rewards platform that estate agents can use to effectively nurture their relationships with both tenants, landlords, sellers, buyers, pretty much anybody they come into contact with. It's super useful at the time of moving because there's always stuff that you need to buy in and around a home move. So it sort of does what it needs to do then because you're getting discounts from all different kinds of stores. So if you could, Jonathan, just in a nutshell, sort of break down what Vaboo does at its most basic, and then we'll talk
Yeah.
about why it could become a very significant lead generator.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's about helping everybody with the cost of living, which, as we know, has become more and more of a pressure over the last few years, and continues to do so. So it's very much about everyday living expenses, whether that's supermarket shopping, high street retailers, but also, the niceties in life, holidays, etc., days out, cinema, whatever. Um, but equally, yes, in terms of the cost of moving, there's plenty on there as well, whether it be, discounted pricing at the likes of IKEA, B&Q, John Lewis, furniture stores, etc. So, it's all very interconnected there. So for our clients, it's about building their brand, in particular within their local community, to show the community why they are um, a better agent than others and that they care about their customer relationships.
And if you are an agent and you're watching this and you think you care about customer relationships, how far do you go? So, those people who aren't using Vaboo, what's the one lesson you can teach them about nurturing customer relationships that you've learned over the years with in dealing with very high caliber agents that are offering a service such as Vaboo provides?
So it's a good question, and I think I've had a lot of conversations recently with agents about their general marketing, in particular, sort of email marketing. And as we all know, agents will send out emails on a monthly basis regarding market updates, etc., which is great for those that are interested at the time they receive the email. But in general, that's a small percentage of people. And I've had conversations recently with a good number of agents about, their email sends and open rates and click rates and things like that. And some of them had some good open rates. But when I questioned them about the people opening those emails and how much they knew about them, they didn't really know. They knew very little about those people. So for example, a conversation I had recently where there was a significant number of people in the agent's email list that was
Yeah.
receiving these market updates every month. I think I had like a 30% open rate, which is pretty good. Um, but when I asked him about who those people were, he didn't really know. He estimated that 5% of the whole email list were current customers, so i.e. people that have transacted within the last 12 months or are currently transacting. So when I then questioned him about the 95% and who they were and what he knew about them, the answer was pretty much nothing. Um, so I suggested doing something different, helping people with the cost of living, inviting them to have access to a branded rewards account. Um, where right now, when people create their accounts, we're getting a lot of that information very easily from people.
So when people are logging in, they're registering, they're putting their preferences in there. What you're saying is it's a fresh stab for those agents to sort of get to know those blank faces that are sat in everybody's CRM. We all know that. We've got tons and tons of contacts that we think may be valuable, but they're only valuable if you can actually find a way of connecting with them. What you're
Correct.
saying is Vaboo opens that conversation with them again.
Correct, absolutely. So, a lot of the stuff we've been working on this year, we can gather as little or as much information from those people that the agent wants. So, if the agent has no clue who these people are because perhaps they registered years ago, well, the first thing we'll ask them is, who are you today? Are you a tenant? Are you a landlord? Are you a vendor? Are you a buyer, etc., etc.? Or are you just a homeowner looking to do nothing right now,
Yeah,
right? And that's fine. And if you are looking nothing right now, when might you be looking? So they'll be asked the relevant question. When are you looking to sell your property? Um, and then from that answer, we can then actually do that nurture for the client by, for example, if they say I'm looking to sell in 12 months, well, we'll check in 3 to 6 to 9 months time if that's still the case. And that's all going to be data available for the agents to then either pick the phone up, do what they do, or we could actually take it all the way to the point where we ask the question, would you like us to get in touch?
yeah. And
And that
let's face it, those people that are receiving an email from Vaboo, an invitation to join this platform, they're far more likely to engage with it because they're getting something effectively that they perhaps hadn't been expecting to get. Something for nothing in their eyes. I mean, it's great. It's something that's going to keep them on the hook and keep them engaged on a month-to-month basis.
correct. When we launch with clients over the last 6 years, we've averaged 40% take up from a database of customers. Um, Now, even if that was only 10 or 20%, if you've got tens of thousands of people on that list, well, that's a good few number of potential additional leads or customers that you're just gathering that information for that you can nurture over the longer term, that our platform can nurture over the longer term for you.
So this segues nicely into why this could be such a powerful lead generation tool, because you have, especially, and people very often they overlook their relationship, particularly with tenants, because we used to sort of look at tenants as a almost like a one bite thing. They rent a property, yes, that gives us some income, we're collecting managed income, but the tenants themselves are inconsequential, they're transient, they'll be here 1 minute, they'll be gone the next. But when a tenant eventually stops being a tenant, they become a buyer at some point, they'll need access to products such as mortgages, etc. And you guys are on that the coalface, really, aren't you? Collecting that sort of data.
Correct. And it's just, potentially more data.
Yeah.
and I had a viewing yesterday. So obviously that person is a buyer on the agent's database. But when they came into the house, I was here when they did the viewing. They saw my Vaboo stuff around the house,
Yeah.
and the
They,
guy said to me,
they asked, "What's the purple room about?" Right?
so I've got a thing on the wall from when we first launched with our original strap line of makes renting more rewarding. And he
Yeah.
asked me what that was, what it was all about. Anyway, the point is, he was also a landlord, and the agent didn't know that,
Yeah.
right? So opportunity for the agent who's got my property to potentially get some rental instructions. Who knows?
Yeah.
So we could gather that information, and there's obviously, I'm sure CRMs are trying to gather a lot of data as well. But because of the rewards element to it, the cost of living savings to it, it's something different than just receiving a market update email. We're trying to help people every day, but it's done under the guise of the agent and their brand. And the other thing that we've done this year as well is for independent agents in particular, we've really looked at our kind of commercial offering. So many people will have seen our marketing previously where we were like, the cost of the service was based on how many users you had, whereas now it's a fixed price. Now, the benefit of that is one, obviously, price won't increase over time if you're within your user limit, but the user limits are significantly high.
They're quite big, aren't they?
Yeah,
I've
they're
seen
more
the
than enough
branding.
for most independent agents. Um, but the other real benefit that we hope agents are going to jump on is how they can use that actually in their marketing. So, for example, they could do a social media post or an email campaign or whatever, inviting their local community to have access to their rewards program to help them with the cost of living. So
Yeah.
those people are registering with the rewards program at the same time registering with the agency's business, and we're gathering that data for them to hopefully generate opportunities in the short, medium, and long term as well, without the agent having to do anything.
I think it's superb because it sort of builds communities, doesn't it? It builds people that will want to work with you in the future. And I get every month without fail, I'll get a massive wad of paper shoved through my door by an agent. And they think they're doing me a service. It's sort of 8 or 9 pages of them whittering on about the local market, different statistics, what the Chancellor's doing this week. And these are all interesting things, but just because I own a house doesn't necessarily make me more inclined to sit up and take an economics lesson from an estate agent. But the point is that if you were to talk to that agent, and I've heard them actually talk on their own podcast about this, they will say, well, the reason we send it out is that we're hoping we engage, those people. And we get about, I think they said something like for every 400 letters they send out, they may get 9 responses. To me, this is a far better use of that time and that opportunity to speak to somebody because I will not engage with that. If I'm not selling right now, I'm not really going to engage with that agent. I think what
Yeah.
you do is you allow me to take advantage of perhaps creating a relationship with that agent in an arm's length way where I don't necessarily need to be selling today, but I know who I'm going to come to if I'm part of your reward scheme, really, aren't I?
Yeah, yeah, that's the idea. There's weekly communication that goes out in the agent's brand to remind them about the rewards program. So absolutely, you know, you'd like to think that when that person is ready to move, sell their house, whatever, that's going to be the agent that springs to mind first. Going back to the conversation about the sort of market update emails that agents send. Well, it's great that you have great open rates and things like that. But what's the chances that that person is receiving the same or similar emails from 5, 10 other agents every month
Sure.
as well? No single brand in that scenario is being positioned above another.
Yeah.
So agents need to be doing something different. Whether it's us, whether it's something else, that's up to them. But they need to be doing something different to elevate their brand over and above their competition just to get that engagement for
It's
when the
it's
customer is ready.
It's great, and I think it really does demonstrate it. It takes that kind of passive. Well, we believe in good customer service, but it actually demonstrates it, doesn't it? To give some something to somebody that's of value, perhaps at a time where they're not ready to necessarily transact with you. I think it's probably one of the most magnanimous business gestures you can make. I think, therefore, it's far more meaningful, isn't it? Especially this time of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is always the best time of the year to get going, and I think the thing with a service like ours, we always knew that the challenge when we entered the industry was going to be different to many other suppliers because at the time it was a new concept, and to many still today it's a new concept, something they haven't spent budget on before. But again, that's why we've addressed our commercial offering, and now from as little as £79 a month without discounts, um, then agents it's a bit hopefully it's a bit of a no-brainer, and they can pay for as little or as much of the features as they wish, even to the extent where if they don't want to pay for the insights and the data today, they're still there in the background if they want them in the future.
Yeah. I
So
think
they
it's
can
a cracking idea, and I think as an agent, I would use it from the minute I step into somebody's life, into their living room, and I start to sort of talk to them on a valuation or anything really. At the beginning of that relationship, if you can get them into that nurture cycle where you're talking to them on a monthly or weekly basis, and there seems to be something there that is other than the obvious, which is please let me sell your house. I think that's always a really great conversation to nurture. And I don't think anybody seems to do it as quite as well as you do. So, in terms of agents to taking this up, what's generally speaking the process?
Well, again, another something we've also simplified. We have on our website, people can go to vaboo.co.uk. If they scroll roughly halfway down the page, there's an estate agent kind of button, and then they'll see the four tiered options that we now have where they can just sign up directly. There's a little video on that page as well if they want to have a look at the inside of the platform as well. They can contact us directly and book a demo as well if they wish.
And the different tiered options obviously have different limits, but also slightly different rewards. Is that correct?
The rewards are more or less the same. That is something there is something going on in the background where that might change. So, for example, when people come onto the platform, there's lots of transactions happening on the platform every day without the actual end user. So they could be purchasing a discounted digital reward card as we've seen it. So let's say they're doing that for Starbucks, Costa Coffee, whatever.
Yeah.
They would have within their digital wallet a reward card slash gift card in the brand of Costa. So one of the things we're working on right now is actually instead of that card being branded Costa, it'll actually be branded as the agent.
Oh, co-branded, brilliant. Okay, that's
Costa
good.
logo kind of
Yeah,
small in the corner,
yeah.
as well as category-based cards. So instead of buying a digital reward card for Tesco, you can have a supermarkets in general one. Again, branded as the agent, but with all the super. So there's those kind of features a bit higher up the chain, if you like, if agents want that additional brand engagement. Um, so yeah, but in terms of user numbers, that's kind of like the primary thing people think about at the beginning is, and really there shouldn't be any issues with the amount of users people want to put on the
No,
platform in the first
they're
instance.
they're quite generous. Well, Jonathan, thank you very much for giving us that insight. I think there's some actionable tips there that agents can take away today, and obviously, using a platform like Vaboo, you tend to sort of get a much better result out of those conversations that you're going to have with clients, particularly with. I really like the insight of clients that may be transitioning from, say, tenants to landlords themselves or to buyers themselves, property owners. So don't be short sighted. Don't just view somebody as what they are today. Think about what they could be to you in the future as well. And there's no real way of keeping that conversation going naturally unless you've got something like Vaboo to help bridge that. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.